Welcome, everybody, to season 2 of Tea Time with Tara. I am so excited to have you all here. So, the other thing that I need to get out of the way is last week I had an episode scheduled and I canceled that at the very last minute. Basically, what happened is that I have been dealing with some psoriatic arthritis flare ups, and it's been pretty painful and excruciating at times, and just mentally and emotionally exhausting to be in pain all the time. And so that was getting me really depressed. And then also PMDD, which I have spoken about before on the show. I won't get too into it right now, but it's just premenstrual dysphoric disorder and it sucks. And it means that I am especially depressed or anxious. It's like an extreme form of PMS for in layman's terms. With that, all that business stuff out of the way, I basically just needed to take care of myself. And so I took the time. So I do apologize to those of you who were looking forward to tuning in last week. Again, because things don't go according to plan. My guest that I had scheduled for last week had originally rescheduled with me, but then life happens. And so a little change up, thank goodness. I had my very, very good friend whose show I was just on. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for being basically my last minute tag in. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
I am Kevin. I have been knowing Tara for 20 something years. I, what else? Oh, she mentioned that podcast.
Yes.
So I also have a podcast on YouTube. It is called My Life with Tourette's, where I discuss obviously my life with Tourette's. I've had Tourette's since I was 8 or 9. I am now 37. And yeah, come take a journey with us.
Oh, it's gonna be a journey, all right.
Gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, and for people out there watching, sorry for the dim lit light.
I actually just got this fancy new ring light, which is why I am so well lit, because up until yesterday, I did not have one.
I had bought one. I actually have one, but for some reason it's glitching right now. And
That's
things work
okay.
wonders.
I know, that's pretty awesome. I was like, "Oh, wow, this is good. I can't believe I went a whole 2 years with a podcast without one."
We were in Walmart and I saw it and I was like, and it was like $15. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting this.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, that's a great deal.
yeah, and it works wonders. But
Yeah.
I have to be on my fiance's computer to do this because I couldn't get on, and so
Mhm.
the portal, the plug-in for the ring is active. So either which way, happy to be here, happy to get it going and have some fun because we always usually tend to have fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I was just on your show. Your show, I would say it's more like tidbits. You do a relatively short show, right? Usually your show is like 5 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah, my episodes where it's just me, usually I think at the most I try to run is like 10 minutes. But sometimes it's a little shorter. Every once in a blue moon, it's a little longer. But try to keep it short and sweet, I guess you would say.
Yeah, but I think that that can be really great, especially with I feel like with how everybody is so used to TikTok and things being short and scrolling and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. I mean, I feel like it just kind of makes sense
Well,
to
and
keep things short.
I do have a lot of shorts. I make sure to put out. So if you don't want to watch my videos, I have a massive amount of shorts that people can watch as well.
All right, so you have basically had Tourette's your whole life. We talked about that on your show that you were diagnosed around the age of 8.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with ADHD at, if I'm not mistaken, my mom said 6.
Okay.
I don't really remember fully that far back, but and she said either 8 or 9 they diagnosed me with Tourette's. Yeah.
And how did that come about?
So the way my mom's always explained it, and if anybody out there's watching that has watched my episode with me and you, they've heard this, is I played soccer all my life as a kid.
Mhm.
And she said the best way I could explain it is while you were playing soccer, you look like a bobblehead running up and down the field. And I mean, I guess you would say that's probably not the nicest thing to announce it, the way to announce it, but like that's how it was, that's how it was.
Yeah.
And so, they brought me to the pediatrician, and from there it went on, and I did some evaluations, and come to find out, yeah, I had Tourette's. I think, like you, from what my mom said, I sat in a room with a doctor. I don't know if it was the pediatrician or something else or a different doctor, but she said I was in there for a while and then come back out and they told them I had Tourette's.
What kind of testing did they do?
So, from what I've researched, because I do not fully remember back when I
Mhm.
was 8 or 9, they mainly are looking at your motor and vocal tics,
Yeah.
kind of seeing what you're doing and how persistent it is.
Okay.
Because there's tic disorder and
Right.
Tourette syndrome, two separate things.
Mhm.
So a lot of people will have a tic disorder, whereas it's not Tourette syndrome. You just have these minor tics you do.
Okay.
Whereas me with my Tourette's, it's a consistent thing. Now
Okay.
I'm really good at controlling it and talking like we are now. It doesn't. I don't tick. As long as like I'm concentrating on something, I
That's
do not. I do
that
not
blows
tick.
my mind, honestly, because I know that, I mean, at some points in your life, it was completely out of control, right?
Yeah. So when I was younger, it was more of just happened. Like I guess you would say like I didn't have full awareness of my Tourette's like I do
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
So it was more of a just it happened, and there's nothing I can really do to control it because I didn't really focus in on it.
Right.
But I was, and the crazy part is like I was on medication and it wasn't even working. Like it was like I wouldn't even be taking it. And I found that so crazy because the amount of medication I was taking back then, and it was still like flaring up. Now there was
Right.
times where the medicine would be real heavy dose to where I would be like a zombie. My mom had told me before, where
Mhm.
I'm just like completely tranquilized kind of deal,
Yeah.
and that would usually help it. But I mean, I'm taking 4, 5, 6 pills in the morning, 2 or 3 at lunch, and then I'm taking 4 or 5 at night. It wasn't the best situation, but my
Yeah,
mom
of
and dad
course
are very
not.
caring parents. They're going to do whatever they got to do. And unfortunately, back in the mid 90s, Tourette's wasn't as controlled, I guess you would say, by the medication and all these other things now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was more of you go off what the doctor's telling you and hope it works.
and they were kind of like the doctors, not your parents, were, like, experimenting basically to figure out what worked best, right?
Yeah, so I ended up getting in with a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
I think. Yeah, and that's where like the medication really took off. When I got in with the
Okay.
psychiatrist, it was like, okay, this didn't work. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, that didn't work. Let's up the dose. Okay, that don't work.
Yeah.
So it was just like a never-ending battle of what pill's gonna work. And I mean, I still take medicine till this day, but it's not nearly as much.
Right.
And it's crazy because I take less now, and it works better than the amount I was taking back then.
Which is honestly amazing. Is it different medications?
Yeah, yeah, it's Abilify and Buspirone.
Okay.
Apparently, I was watching I was watching a seminar on YouTube. I want to say it's Abilify is
Okay.
actually a newer one, and they find it works. It's one of the higher ones up the ranks that they use a lot. But yeah, so those two together. Because if I miss one and I'm just on one,
Yeah.
then it's like I'm not even taking my meds. Like I have to take them both. I guess like they click together to
Yeah, that's
where
actually so interesting that it's 2 medications that are working together to
yeah.
help.
And it's crazy because like I'm taking all this medicine back then, and they're not they're not clicking or whatever however you want to call it.
Right,
And
yeah.
here I am only taking two, and it's knocked it down like dramatically, like huge.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thankful that I don't have to go through that whole medicine spiel, but I know that there's people out there that I've talked to whose kids are on all different kinds of medicines, and it's like it sucks that these kids got to go through it because I've been there, I've done that.
Yeah.
It's not fun, I mean, let's face it, who wants to take a crap ton of medicine every day, day in and day out, and then
Been there.
it
It is
not
not fun.
and then it not fully do what you want it to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like for me, and there's other people out there like this. I want them to find a medicine that just knocks it out completely, gone. Doesn't
Wouldn't
you don't
that
have
be
that.
nice?
Like that miracle
Yeah.
pill.
Yeah.
Like if I could find that, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
But I've learned to live with my Tourette. I've learned to deal with. It's not going nowhere. It's not going
Mhm.
away. It's here. But what's crazy, going to back in the day. So we were told as time goes on, they grow out of it a lot of the times.
Mhm.
I grew out of it for maybe a couple months, and then it came back even more severe than it was before.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
My ex wife, when she met me, I never twitched. And then all of a sudden they started coming back, and they started coming back real bad. And she was like, I didn't even know you had Tourette's. I'm like, yeah, well, they went away. That's why you
yeah.
got to know. Now they're back.
Oh,
So, but
didn't outgrow it after all.
no, no, I was one of them lucky ones that
Ah,
it decided to just carry through.
yeah.
But like I'm not I'm not like ashamed of having Tourette's or
Of
embarrassed by
course.
it by any
Yeah.
means. And I wish more people would have the strength in them to be able to do that,
Yeah.
because it makes it's such a relief on you. Because I mean, people are a holes. They're gonna
Well, yeah.
they're gonna be who they are, and I think until you can grow the strength to overcome and not allow them to be like that to you,
Mhm.
it's a struggle. I've been there a little bit here and there, but I try not to let it get to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that another thing, speaking of not letting it get to you, something that we had talked about was how you navigate. What was that? Is that your phone? Or is that a comment? Is there a ding?
I
Where
don't know.
we I heard a ding. Oh, we have somebody in the chat.
Where? I
Okay.
don't see nobody.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it says I was like, "What is that sound?" So, I'm seeing just Facebook user. I don't know if you need to give certain permissions in order for me to see your username, but I just see Facebook user and it says, "Tara, what did you take meds for?" I have taken meds for a lot of things. So, I've taken meds for I've taken meds for anxiety. I have found that like what you were saying about how medication, like it was kind of an experiment. I felt very similarly for with my anxiety. Eventually, I did find a medication that worked for many years, and then it stopped working. And then I kind of just got off of all of the meds for that. And then I was dealing with a lot of health stuff. So I've been an experiment for how to help put my psoriatic arthritis into some state of control. And so I tried a bunch of medications that actually made me sicker.
They'll do it. They that side
Yeah.
effects side effects suck ass. I promise you.
Yeah, they're awful. And so then I got off of all of those medications except for medication, just a pain medication, just an anti-inflammatory medication for the pain, at least to manage my symptoms until we can find something that helps to keep my immune system from being overactive. I was on a heart medication for a little while because something fun about psoriatic arthritis is that it also impacts your heart and can cause heart disease. So when I have flare ups, I usually have tachycardia. So my heart rate is just really, really high because, like, in reaction to the inflammation. So I get regular EKGs and heart checkups and things like that. So hopefully, Facebook user, whoever you are, I hope that answers your question.
Now, hey, let me ask you this. So you saying you've been on a lot of different medicines. Here's a question for you. Do
Ooh,
you find that the medicines help or actually affect you more than they help you? Because like growing up, looking back now, I find they affected me more than they helped me.
so
Like, do you
like
feel the same? Because
you
like I
like you had
totally feel
negative
that way.
side effects, you mean?
Yeah, like I find the side effects are affecting you more than the pill is helping you sometimes.
Yeah, that's absolutely, I
Like that,
mean,
and I mean that's just
a
my
lot.
opinion, but
A lot, yeah. I mean, to the
I
point
feel
where I was like, "I can't take this stuff anymore," and, like, most recently with my rheumatologist, he was like, "You don't need to feel like shit all the time." He
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah,
told me, like, "You do not need to feel like shit all the time. You don't
yeah.
need to keep doing this. Like, we can try something else." And so I see him on Monday, so hopefully we can find some other shit for me to try.
Well, here's a fun fact that
Yes.
I don't think I ever told you, or maybe we've talked about it over the years. So when I was 17,
Mhm.
I noticed my ticks weren't like hard. They were hardly ever happening.
Wait,
So
you still had hair?
yes,
Oh, I just hit my mic. Was it, like, spiky
yes, it was my punk days.
punk rock hair?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, okay, before we go into what I was gonna say, so fun thing is, so I have Tourette's, and I am like all over the place, especially more when I was younger.
You
And
have
I,
ADHD too.
yeah, yeah, and the ADHD. I had
Me too.
mohawks. I had I mean, I stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mhm,
Aside from my Tourette's, and then having
mhm.
Tourette's on top of it was like a, hey, look at me. But I wasn't like intentionally wanting people to look at me.
I don't
But
know.
anyways,
You're covered in tattoos now, so
yeah. But
I mean, so am I.
so yeah. So I was I was 17 and my ticks weren't as bad as they were as before. So I just stopped taking the medicine cold turkey on my own.
Mhm.
A week to the day I had my first seizure. Yeah, I'm also epileptic. Yeah.
Okay. I knew that.
And a year later
I
I
forgot
had
about
another,
that.
yeah. And a year to the date, I think it was later, I had another seizure. And over the years I've had, I don't know, 10 or 12. My last one was 2015.
I mean, that's great that it's been that long.
Yeah, so it just adds on top of all the other crap I already have.
Yeah, okay, so the question about that, is there any correlation between, like, what's going on in your brain causing Tourette's and what's going on in your brain causing epilepsy, or it's just a series of unfortunate events?
They're both unknown.
Okay.
I mean, Tourette's, they starting to very, very slowly, minorly pinpoint stuff.
Okay.
And my neurologist flat out told me your seizures are unknown. We have no idea why you have them.
Ugh.
My mom and my dad believe it was the fact that I stopped taking that medicine. But
Interesting.
every doctor we've seen said no, that can't happen.
I mean,
I
I
think
just
I think it could.
yeah,
Now I've had so many.
I
It's
was just
like
gonna say, I had a doctor tell me this is a total, like, this is such an ADHD episode, I feel like, because we're gonna go all over the place. But I had a doctor tell me recently when Robin was sick, my daughter, for the viewers and listeners who don't know who Robin is, she's 6. And she had the flu, and then she had pneumonia, and then she was still having a fever. And so I looked in her ears with one of those little scopes
yeah,
and could see that her ears were swollen and red. And I was like, homegirl has an ear infection. And I brought her to the doctor, and the doctor was like, she can't have an ear infection. She's on antibiotics. Well, guess what? Guess who had a double ear infection?
the one that was on antibiotics.
So, yeah.
I truly believe, like my mom does, it was the medicine.
Yeah. I mean,
What you gonna do? You know?
correlation does not equal causation. However, sometimes it
Yeah.
does.
Yes.
So, okay, well, let's try to get focused back on on
On
task.
Tourette,
I have notes, okay?
let's stick to the notes if we can.
I completely lost my place. Oh, okay. So this I thought was really interesting when we spoke about it the last time. The biggest misconception about Tourette's.
One of the main ones is the tick where you curse and say
Yeah.
vulgar things. I want to say it's pronounced corporilia, corporilia. I think corporilia,
Yeah, I
corporilia. Yeah, that.
corporalia or corporalia. I don't know the
Yeah,
proper
I can't
pronunciation,
I
but
can't tell trying to pronounce
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
that I think, in my opinion, is probably the one, if not the biggest misconception.
Yeah, because
And
that's not
that's
that
my
off.
opinion. I
Yeah.
think there's there's other things as well,
Yeah.
but like I've ran into so many people who find out I have Tourette's, and like first thing coming out their mouth, "Oh, you have Tourette's? I thought you just cursed when you had that."
Mm,
Like it's so much more complex, and there's so much more to
right.
Tourette's than
Yeah.
that. I mean, like I had told you, it's like I want to say 10%, but I mean, it's a small percentage of people. I actually know a woman whose son has it. No,
And how old is he? You said he was a teenager, right?
I want to say he's 12 or 13. He
Oh,
might
so
be a
like
year
a
younger.
baby.
Yeah, I think no, I think he's 11 or 12.
Yeah, that has to be so hard at that age.
And I think like having that and having to go to school with that, like man, I feel for
Yeah.
that kid every day. Like man,
Yeah.
that's because like everybody's against you because nobody understands what it is.
Yeah.
So you're
That's
having to like she said, she's fought tooth and nail with the school board and everybody to defend him.
mhm.
That everything about it, and she catches a lot of hell because of it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I can't even imagine what that must be like to have to, well, for the child to be navigating that and to try to like I am sure that there are teachers who have no clue and just have no patience for it and are not even remotely understanding about it. And then I'm just thinking of like this series of events where, like a child has a tick and then the teacher says something like or sends them to the principal's office or something because they think they're just being a jerk, and
Well,
then
he
it's
he
disruptive to their learning and things like that.
yeah, and one of the big things that's going on right now is, if I remember right, like they're going through. He they think he needs some kind of, I wouldn't say detention or whatever. I forgot what it was he had said or did,
Mhm.
but like the school wants to like punish him or reprimand him or something. It's like, no, like you can't. I get it. Y'all don't understand it fully,
Yeah, but it's not
whatever.
his fault.
But like, you really truly got to understand this kid is not at all at fault.
Yeah.
And luckily, like I say luckily, but like that's one thing with me growing up. I never had to worry about like school, bullying, none of that. As
I
far as
feel
I
like
remember,
that's yeah, I mean, whether it happened or not, the fact that you don't remember it happening is pretty great because that means if it didn't happen, you're lucky, I guess. Oh my God, I cannot keep hitting my microphone. Sorry.
but you see,
Talk with my hand.
like so it was almost like what's crazy is now
Mhm.
for how like out and about Tourette's is in everything,
Yeah.
you would think like it would be more understood. Like back
Yeah.
then, it was not understood in my little hick town I lived in, and they just looked
I
past
don't
it,
think
just
anybody
whatever.
understands it because of the fact that TV and movies misrepresent it so much. I think that that's really what it is. Like it's what you said about it be like the most common myth being that it's usually just people like yelling obscenities, but it's so much more than that. Which actually is there's another question from a Facebook user, I think you need to give some sort of permission in order for me to see your name so that I can thank you for participating. But it says, which movie portrays Tourette's the worst?
One that I remember, if I'm not mistaken, is Juice Bigelow. I don't know if
Do
people
oh
remember that.
Deuce Bigelow, male
Yeah,
gigolo.
whatever. Yeah, that. If I'm not mistaken,
I
there
don't
was there
I
was a
don't know
scene
that.
in there.
I've never seen it. So
Yeah.
why
I
was
mean,
it?
I can't like name off the top of my head. I've seen
Yeah.
a few of them, but I don't fully remember. But and it's not just, I say movies and all, but it's really not just movies.
Mhm.
Like you go on these YouTube or whatever, and you can find these things where it's like
Yeah.
people are doing stuff or like saying stuff.
That's the
There,
only
there,
kind of
there's definitely,
TikToks I've seen.
yeah, there's definitely some movies out there. You'd
Mhm.
have to search it up because I'm not
Yeah.
fully sure. But I guarantee you, every movie you watch, not documentary about Tourette's or anything like that, just a regular movie where they depict it, it's very seldom you're gonna find one that doesn't fully show, what Tourette, because it's just, it's such a more complex thing than what people portray it to be. I mean, like me, I cough and I gag myself. Like, I guarantee you, everybody out there that knows nothing about Tourette's is not going to know a tick, you gag yourself.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more ticks that people don't really see or understand. So, like, if you do it, it's like, well, what are you doing? Oh, I have Tourette's. Well, no, that's not Tourette's. Well, actually, yeah, Tourette's comes in all different shapes and sizes, so to say, in a more
I gotcha.
humorous way.
Yeah.
Comes in all different.
All right, so I actually looked it up, and you are right that Deuce Bigelow is notorious apparently for the scene where a character randomly shouts obscene things in public, and it's played purely for laughs with no context, no depth, no accuracy. It's a full-on caricature, and it enforces the myth that everyone with Tourette's yells profanity, which only affects about 10% of people
I
with
want to say, yeah.
TS. And then it treats chicks as entertainment and something to laugh at and not to understand. And so it just has zero empathy, which I mean, yeah, I could see why you would think you would remember that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, if I'm not mistaken, I remember because I watched the movie and I
Yeah.
remember in there, yeah. And it's like, and that's another thing, like people make it out to be like this is some funny thing.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's tiring. You're sore. I mean, I constantly got a raspy voice because my cough and
Because of your
everything that
cough,
comes
yeah.
with it. I
Yeah.
mean, I get up in the morning and I sound like Oscar the Grouch.
Ugh,
Like it's bad. And
I
and that's I wish more people would take the time to really understand it than to just laugh about it.
yeah, yeah,
But
no,
the way people are these days, it's not gonna happen.
but you started your podcast so that people, um,
Yeah,
can learn more about it, and so that's a step in the right direction.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and like that's the thing. Like, I think if more people ask, like me, and I'm sure there's other people with Tourette's out there that would do the same. You ask me like anything about Tourette's, I'll tell
Mhm.
you anything I know for sure that
Yeah.
I possibly can. Like I will inform you as much to my knowledge as I can.
Well, on that note, I've got questions for you.
All right, hit me
Okay.
with it.
Alright, we're gonna just do some quick fire questions, but 5, alright? I'm gonna do 5 now and then 5 later if we have time, and you have to just answer the first thing that comes to mind, don't think about it.
Yeah. All right,
Okay, ready, go. Go-to comfort food.
Mexican.
What specifically? There's so
Oh,
much Mexican food.
tacos, tacos,
Okay. Do you like authentic tacos or like Taco Bell tacos?
no authentic,
Okay.
authentic.
All right.
Yes.
Your first celebrity crush.
Winona Ryder.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love
Winona,
that so much.
Winona Ryder. Yeah.
Oh, okay. A song that you secretly love.
Oh, it's played by a singer named Enya. Enya.
Enya.
Who will say where the roads go?
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love that song. That's an extremely good
Oh,
song.
we are the age of Enya. That's those
Yeah,
commercials
yeah,
with all the CDs that had
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a song not too many people will hear me listen to, but I do listen to it.
Oh, that's wholesome. Okay. If your personality was a TV character, who would it be?
Chris Farley. Facts. Chris Farley.
Oh, all right.
For sure.
Fair. I'm not going to disagree. That's why I'm laughing so hard. Weirdest thing in your fridge right now?
I don't know. I don't have nothing weird, just normal stuff.
There's nothing weird like an old sandwich or
No, no, it's just basic stuff.
wah wah.
I mean, I
Okay.
really, like,
Uh,
really, I
I'm
keep thinking that.
trying to think of what I have that's weird in the fridge. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like a tricky question.
If you'd have asked me like 2 months ago, I had some fresh Fresca cheese.
Mhm.
That's kind of weird because, like, I don't really see too many people having that in their
It's
house.
not like
Usually,
a common.
it's not Walmart or like store bought. Like, I bought it at a Mexican store.
That's pretty
Auth-
awesome.
Authentic
Authentic.
Fresca. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I love food, so I'm glad we got to talk about it. Now, I if there are any audience questions, please drop them in because we are about to wrap up. But let's see. I feel like okay. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot to ask you about this. So we did talk like at the end of the episode that we did on your show, we kind of started to pivot, and then we talked more offline because your show is a lot more tame than my show.
Family
I
oriented, yes.
yeah, yeah. Yours is for more for educational purposes. Mine is not. And so I
No, no, it is not.
purely for entertainment purposes. You might learn some things. That's the whole point, right? But oh, there goes there. I got a comment in the message, and my ADHD was like, "Oh, there goes that thought." So we're gonna pivot to that because I have no idea what I was just saying. What what's your best response to a negative comment or reaction about your ticks? From it says from your ticks. So like when somebody reacts negatively, what's the best response that you have to that? Or has anybody?
I mean, you want like a blunt? You want me to be
Yeah.
upfront? Usually, I will, you know, say a curse word and walk away. Yeah,
Tell them to fuck off or something like that.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
at all take well to somebody making fun of my Tourette's.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
I would
either,
say,
so
I would say, if it does happen, I mean, it's happened maybe a couple times.
yeah.
Yeah, straight up f off and walk off.
I
I'll never like fully like altercate with somebody over it, but I will definitely make a statement so you understand. Do not make fun of what I have because I
yeah.
cannot control it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go if you had something, I'm not gonna, you know, make fun of you for it. Like why make fun of me?
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
stupid.
on a way less serious scale, like a way less personal scale, was driving a car that broke down, like it stalled. I was borrowing a car when I was after my car accident, and the car stalled in the middle of an intersection, and this guy started blowing his horn at me, and I was like, what the fuck do you want me to do about this? Obviously, I'm not sitting in the middle of the fucking intersection because I feel like it, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
just
mean,
parked in the middle of the
different,
intersection.
obviously very different circumstances, but same concept of like, I obviously don't want this to be happening right now. You're really going to be an asshole to me about it. So when he kept blowing his horn, after, like I had the hazards on and everything, I got out of the car and I was like, the car fucking stalled, asshole. You gonna help me or are you gonna go the fuck around me? So kind of the same idea, right?
But also with that question, I I have come, 37, getting going up in age.
Hey, be nice because we're the same age.
I have I have also come to realize it's best to just walk away.
Mm.
I'm still gonna tell you something because you're
Mhm.
not gonna say something about what I have that I can't
Mhm.
control and laugh about it and think you can just I'm gonna go on, you're gonna go on merrily, and
Yeah.
that's it. Because like I feel you got to stick up for yourself with your Tourette's
Absolutely.
because there's so many people out there that just can't do it.
Absolutely.
So I will
Absolutely.
definitely be the voice for those people that can't, for sure, for sure.
I appreciate that, like, that you do that
That's
because
a that's
it's
a that's a good question. I like that question.
yeah, that's a great question. All
I'd
right,
like to know how more people react.
yes, yeah, that would actually be that would be great to
I
know.
would really love to know.
But wait, I remembered what I was asking you before, so I don't want to lose it again.
Yeah, about the
Um,
witches and all witchcraft.
yeah, so before people knew about Tourette's, you got like a very, very, very long time ago. I mean, I went down like a little bit of a rabbit hole, and it was like really like hundreds, many hundreds of years ago, not just a couple hundreds of years ago. People with Tourette's were accused of being like possessed and
Yeah,
being accused of witchcraft and killed because of it, right? Burned at the stake.
yeah. From what I have read over
Right.
the years, yeah,
I soft fact checked that, and so my soft fact checking confirms that, which is absolutely horrible
yeah.
and like wild to think that I mean people are still assholes
Well, I
Uh,
guess you. I
but
guess you gotta.
at least we're not there, right? Like
Yeah.
we've come quite a long way from
Thank
there.
God. Thank God
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
And but I get it too. It's like it's a different. It's different back then. Like you
Well, they
see
were afraid
stuff
of what they
out of
didn't know.
whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see stuff out of whack. You're like, okay, well, something's wrong with you, and we don't know it's that. Like
That was
something's
how they
wrong with you,
explained it.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all right. What did they think caused it? Come on. Why don't you just say it? Ugh.
So after reading about witchcraft,
Yeah.
there was another one I don't remember, but Tara wants me to say this because I told her off screen after my podcast episode.
So I want you to say it on screen on mine.
Now, hold up. Before I say it, did you research it? Did you research
Uh,
this one?
no.
So, in the same area article I was reading about the witchcraft, they also assumed that masturbation caused Tourette's. Yeah. Not
Okay.
not 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 like a huge ordeal, but for a little glimpse, they thought, yeah, which blows my mind. It's like, what? Like, so everybody's just walking around with
Yeah.
Tourette's?
Yeah. Basically. Can you
I
imagine?
would really love to dive deep into that and find out exactly how that even
I would love
thought is possible.
for you to do like a history series on your show about Tourette's, like a little history mini series where you like do little.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be so cool.
I think that's a good idea.
You should do it.
Yeah, I'd have to do some more fact checking.
Yeah. All
I'd
right.
have to get away from Google though, because Google doesn't always tell the
Well,
truth.
you can use Google Scholar, and you can also just use Google and like Wikipedia as like a jumping off point to
Oh yeah, yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah,
like start looking other places
yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
just gotta do proper research, right?
Well, and what's crazy, like when I started to dive into the research of it, like, and I have it, I've had it a long time now. Like there was so much interesting stuff I learned, like obviously all that crazy stuff, but like the way they handled it back then after Dr. Tourette, because that's who they named it after. They named it after the
Yes.
doctor. How you pronounce his full name, I don't know, but I know his last name was Tourette. So they named it after him because he was the actual first doctor to make the first case of it.
Like to
But they
diagnose
didn't
it.
have if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have a name for it. And then when it came, so when he passed away, I think in the early 1900s, it kind of went quiet. And then this couple brought it back in, I think, like the 60s or 70s. And
Mm.
when they brought it back, they named it after him, being he was the first doctor to have the. And fun fact, he got shot in the head by one of his own patients for psychosis treatment or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like a couple years later,
Interesting.
he died. Yeah,
Well, that's sad.
yeah, very sad. But
The
yeah,
dying, the
so
dying part.
yeah, yeah, but it was really cool. Like anybody out there that's watching that wants to learn more or really wants to take the time to research stuff, there's really a lot of cool, interesting things about it.
Including your podcast, which you're going to talk about it on, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I, I,
I'll be your research assistant.
I will definitely do my research first. Yes.
All right, we have another question, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, so no pressure if you don't, because I have Google, even though we just said not to necessarily trust Google alone. Is there any correlation between Tourette's and OCD?
They actually are in the same family. Tourette's, OCD, ADHD are all in the same family. Yes, Tourette's and OCD both go with Tourette's. I mean, OCD and ADHD both go with Tourette's, yes. A lot
Okay.
of people that have Tourette's will either
Yeah.
have ADHD, OCD, or both. Yeah,
Okay. So I
yeah, a
have
lot of people.
I have some potential facts because these are we're going to call them soft facts. Somebody can fact check me on this.
They
But
apparently
it
go ahead and
says they often overlap both neurologically and behaviorally. So there is a strong connection. Both Tourette syndrome and OCD are considered neurodevelopmental disorders, and they involve how the brain develops and processes things like control urges and habits. So it also makes sense with ADHD, like you said. Studies show that up to 50 to 60% of people with Tourette's also experience OCD symptoms or full-blown OCD. They're related in that tics are often involuntary or semi-voluntary responses to a physical urge. Compulsions are intentional actions done to relieve anxiety caused by obsessive thoughts. People with Tourette syndrome often feel a buildup before a tic, which you have mentioned before, like it's a pressure or tension. And similarly, people with OCD experience intrusive thoughts that create mental tension, relieved only by the rituals or behaviors, much like the pressure or tension that you feel leading up to the tic is relieved when you finally like let
Yeah,
out whatever it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I
Pretty
I actually I
interesting.
have so I played soccer forever and I love soccer. They had a USA men's soccer team. They used to have a goalkeeper named Tim Howard. And I didn't know about this till I became an adult that he had Tourette's and
Hmm.
OCD.
Okay.
And you would never see his Tourette's because unless the camera was facing the other end of the field, he would try to hold them in the best he can. But yeah,
Oh, wow.
like you hear Billie Eilish has it and all these other ones. Yeah. The
I
first one I ever
didn't know
heard
that
of was,
either.
yeah, the first one I ever heard of was Tim Howard,
Cool.
goalkeeper.
All right. Last 5 questions.
Hitman,
If you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go?
Germany,
Why Germany?
because the World War II history in it.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. You get one wish. What would it be?
Bring my grandparents back.
Mm, I feel that. Same.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I might cry now. I'm not being a smartass. What's a superpower you don't want?
Seeing through walls. The hell with that.
Nobody wants to see anybody's butts.
I do not want to be walking
People
and
pooping.
turn and face a wall and you see some stuff that you were like, man, I
Somebody
wish I
changing in a
could.
changing room.
Yeah, like,
Ugh.
man, I wish I couldn't see through walls right now.
Can't walk near any bathrooms in public places, or I mean
Uh-uh.
even at home. Like you just don't ever
No,
want to see
no,
people
no.
poop.
That's probably the worst power you can have, in my opinion.
Fair. Yeah. Gonna have to agree. What's a is there a meme or a trend that makes you crazy, like that gets on your nerves?
Meme or a trend?
Yeah, like
Tide
TikTok
Pods killed
stuff.
me. I hated Tide Pods.
I,
I hated the Tide Pod trend.
I can't believe that that was actually a thing. I have a very hard time believing that that was actually a thing. Like,
That was probably one of the most annoying things, in my opinion.
yeah, you know
I
what
guess
annoys me?
anything to get a view.
What annoys me is the trend of people doing dances on TikTok and Instagram when they can't dance.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
They're just they think that they're doing like this trendy dance and they're just really bad at it.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go check this out. I've never seen this.
You've never seen the people doing the dances and they're just really bad at it?
Uh-uh.
Oh
No,
man. Just scroll.
I'm missing
Scroll.
out. I guess missing out.
No. Okay, last one. This is a little sappy. What's one thing that you are genuinely looking forward to this year? I saw that.
Getting married.
Oh.
There you go.
Do you have a date?
No, not yet.
Well,
I need to get one. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's if it's this year, you're
I'm
running out of
I'm I'm
time.
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
hoping. I'm hoping this year. Yeah.
running out of time to plan it this year at least.
I think that's a good one. I think that's what I think.
I'm just busting your chops.
Oh, ha ha
Oh.
ha.
Well, I think that that's really sweet, and I'm really excited for you, and I'm happy that you met your person, and especially after all the baloney that the two of us have been through, it's nice
Yes.
that you have met your person, and
Well, and what's nice is like one of the biggest things about my fiance is like my podcast, for instance.
yeah.
So she gives me ideas when I'm like trying to think of something. The other day she woke up and immediately texted me, "Hey," and asked me a question about Tourette's and was like, "That's an episode you can make." Like
Aw,
like
she's
who's just gonna
super
wake up
supportive.
and be like, "Ah, I got an episode for him."
Yeah,
And
that's very nice.
she hadn't she's been kind of busy, but she usually sits in on every one of my recordings. Very, very supportive. The only bad part is I call her a bad critic because she'll never tell me I screwed up.
Oh, if something is not good.
Which,
Alright.
hey, I mean,
There are worse
maybe
things.
maybe she's right. Maybe
There
she's
are
right.
and there are worse things, right?
Yeah, but in my
Well,
head, I messed up.
it's okay. We are always our worst critics.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, on that note, thank you so much for joining me to kick off this season. We have been talking for just about an hour. I just want to remind people to I almost said text. I don't know why. Instead of saying listen to your show,
Oh yeah, text my
I
show.
want
Go ahead.
to
Go ahead. Text away. Text away.
I want to remind people to listen to your show. It is called My Life with Tourette's, right?
So if you look it up,
My Life with
I
Tourette's podcast.
no, My Life with Tourette's channel. I've
Oh,
yet to
channel
figure
on
out.
YouTube, right?
Yeah, if you look it up
Yeah.
on YouTube, you have to type in My Life with Tourette's channel.
Okay.
I was able to get it into the search bar, but for some reason that has to be put. I got to figure out how to get that off. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to dive deep and figure it out.
Yeah.
So anybody out there that is watching that has an interest in wanting to go check it out, that's how you look it up.
Yeah, and it looks like I have some a Facebook user. It says I don't know why, but I can only respond to you. LOL, I've been trying to ask questions. I only got to ask one. Oh, bummer. Okay. I'm
Ask
sorry.
away. Ask
Yeah,
away.
no, I mean, if you want to reach out to me separately, I'll give you my info, or you can, and if you wanted to touch base with Kevin, I can always get people connected with you, Kevin.
I
You
give
can,
out my email, man.
what's your email?
It is Kevin underscore Ford, like the truck, 32 at yahoo.com.
All right, Kevin underscore Ford 32 at yahoo.com. So people
Yeah.
can reach you there. You can follow me on Instagram at teatime.tara, Facebook, Tea Time with Tara. You can go to my website, teatimetara.com, and I have merch there and all of my links to my social media and all that other good stuff there. A quick shout out because I just got a new car and I never dealt with a car broker before. And this is not even an ad. This is just really me giving a shout out to them because it was so awesome at Hollywood Motors in Fairfield, New Jersey. I have named my car the Phantom Queen because she's a spooky girl, and I'm obsessed with it, and I just want everybody to have as great of an experience as I did. I literally had my car delivered to my house. I never had to set foot in a dealership, and it was freaking awesome. So feel free to DM me on Instagram if you're interested in having that kind of an experience and getting into your new vehicle. Really, that's it. So thank you so much
Hey,
for
hey,
hanging out. Yeah, yeah,
real,
yeah. Go ahead.
real quick. So the person that's trying to ask you questions, but for some reason can't,
Yeah.
that would be my fiance.
Oh, okay. Well, we
She
can then
just
we
texted me.
okay.
She just texted
Oh.
me.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for yeah, well, obvious then get her connected with me, or maybe we can do like a little post show something or other if we get more questions later on. If anybody has more questions and we find that we want to do a little bit of a follow up on this, we can do a quick little post show Q&A at some point. But thank you everybody who joined. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you all have a great evening. Bye.